In today's video, we are going to talk about how to maintain your muscle mass after 60 years old. I'm a family physician. Let's dive right in. The number one reason that people lose muscle mass as they age past 60 is because of inadequate protein intake. Okay, so many people do not get enough protein, especially as they get older. Why is that? Well, for a few reasons. One is that their metabolism slows down, so they don't need as much protein as they did when they were younger. And so, that's true, but you still need quite a bit of protein. Another reason is that their digestive system doesn't work as well as it used to, and so they don't absorb protein as efficiently as they used to. And then the third reason is that just like our muscles atrophy or shrink if we don't use them, the same thing happens with our guts. Our guts atrophy if we don't use them, and we don't make as much stomach acid as we used to. And so we don't break down and digest and absorb protein as efficiently as we used to. Now, this all sounds pretty bleak, but there are ways around this, and you can maintain your muscle mass even into your 70s, 80s, and beyond. There are several things you can do to increase your protein digestibility corrected amino acid score, and I'll tell you what that means in a minute. But the main thing you have to do is eat enough protein. And I'm going to recommend eating more protein than you think you need. How much protein do you need? If you weigh 200 pounds, okay, you want to try to eat 200 grams of protein per day. Now, some of you will say, "Doc, that's impossible. I can't eat that much protein." Here's how you do it. Have 3 servings of meat. Okay, that could be chicken thighs, chicken breasts, steaks, pork chops, bacon. Whatever you want to eat, have 3 servings of meat per day. 2 of those can be smaller portions, and 1 of them can be a larger portion. So maybe at breakfast, you have 2 strips of bacon and a bowl of oatmeal with a scoop of yogurt. Then at lunch, you have a nice big salad with grilled chicken on top. And then at dinner, you have a steak, maybe 8 ounces of steak with some broccoli. That'll put you right at that 200-gram mark. And if you're a little bit overweight, let's say you weigh 220, then you want to shoot for 220 grams of protein per day. If you weigh 180 pounds, 180 grams of protein per day. Now, here's the thing. That may sound like a lot of protein, but it's actually not a lot of protein. It's more protein than most people should consume who are trying to build muscle, especially young men who are trying to build muscle. They typically only consume around 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. I'm recommending 0.65 grams of protein per pound of body weight. So you might say, "Well, I already eat more than that." Well, great. Increase your protein even more. You can safely consume up to 2 grams of protein per pound of body weight, especially as you get older. We want to really overdo it on the protein to help you retain your muscle mass. And I know some of you will say, "Well, isn't too much protein bad for my kidneys?" If you have normal kidney function, which you can check by getting your labs checked, if you have normal kidney function, then eating more protein is not going to harm your kidneys. In fact, eating adequate protein helps prevent the loss of muscle, which then helps prevent falls and fractures, which is what ends up putting a lot of stress on your kidneys and your bones as you get older. Okay, so that's the first thing you got to do. Eat a lot more protein. Now, remember I mentioned that we want to increase your protein digestibility, corrected amino acid score. And there's 3 things you can do to achieve that. First, make sure you chew your food very, very well. This is so important, especially as we get older. We tend not to chew our food well, and we end up swallowing huge chunks of food that our stomach has to break down further. That takes a lot of work, and then your body doesn't absorb the protein as efficiently. So make sure you chew your food very, very well, and when you chew your food, you are going to release enzymes in your saliva that start breaking down the carbohydrates and the protein and the fats. So make sure you take your time when you eat and chew your food very, very well. The second thing you can do is add some betaine hydrochloride. Betaine hydrochloride is an over-the-counter supplement that you can get at any health food store. What this does is it helps your stomach secrete more stomach acid, and you need more stomach acid to break down protein. So betaine hydrochloride helps you secrete more stomach acid. You can take 1 or 2 of these little pills before you eat each meal, and that will help your stomach break down protein more efficiently. And then, the third thing you can do is add some enzymes, okay? There are several different over-the-counter enzyme formulas you can get. I recommend taking those with each meal to help break down the protein in your food so you can absorb it more efficiently. The next thing you need to do is to lift weights. Now, I know many of you are saying, "I can't lift weights. I've never lifted weights." That's okay. Just do what you can. Start out, maybe do some sit-ups. Maybe do some push-ups against the wall. Maybe do some squats, where you just kind of stand up and sit down. Do whatever you can. As you get stronger, you can increase the intensity and the resistance. You can do this with your own body weight, or you can buy some very inexpensive weights online, or go down to your local like Walmart or Target and buy some very inexpensive weights that you can do your exercises with. You really don't need to spend a whole lot of money on fancy equipment to resistance train. All you need are some dumbbells or something you can use as weights. And you just need to do some basic exercises that work all the major muscle groups. And you want to do this 3 times a week. All right, so those are the 3 main things you need to do to help you maintain your muscle mass as you age past 60. But I want to mention 2 other things that are really important. One is vitamin D. Studies have shown that maintaining adequate vitamin D levels helps you maintain your muscle mass as you get older. Now, I recommend taking 10,000 international units of vitamin D every single day. Now, some of you will say, "But Doc, isn't that too much?" No, it's not. That's actually a very, very low dose. You want to take a lot of vitamin D to help you maintain your muscle mass. You also want to take magnesium to help you maintain your muscle mass, and potassium, and a multivitamin. Now, I know many of you are saying, "Well, I already take a multivitamin." Well, great. Make sure that multivitamin has at least 100 milligrams of magnesium and 100 million of potassium. If it doesn't, then it's not nearly enough. You need a lot of these minerals to help you maintain your muscle mass. So, I hope this video has been helpful. If it has, please give it a thumbs up. Also, if you're not yet subscribed, please subscribe. Every single day I'm making videos on various health topics to help you make more informed decisions about your health and your nutrition. So please consider subscribing. I'll see you next time.